Does anyone else remember 19 Kids and Counting? There was a time when the Duggars were one of the most famous families in the country. American enough to be relatable, but eccentric enough to be interesting. This family hit all the headlines with one very simple trick. You have a lot of kids. And it's far too easy to look back at the Duggar era as a simpler time, when such a simple premise was enough to earn millions of viewers. But honestly, who really were the Duggars? Were they really the charismatic, happy family that everybody thought they were? Or was there a much darker truth there the entire time? Today we're looking into the dark past of the Duggars. Why was the show really canceled? Who was sent to federal prison? And what was really happening behind the scenes? Today we're answering all the 19 Kids and Counting questions and more. Before we get started, hit that thumbs up icon to show us some support. And subscribe to the channel for more reality updates like this. Alright, you ready? Well, let's go find out.
What happened?
Their background. There was once a time when the Duggar family numbered only two, when a 19-year-old man from Arkansas named Jim Bob found himself a wife, a 17-year-old named Michelle. Together, they launched a series of marginal businesses, dabbling in industries such as car sales, car towing, and real estate. Through his endeavors in his church and the business world, Jim Bob became known as an entity in the state of Arkansas, enough to successfully serve in the Arkansas House of Representatives for many years. But politics was not the Duggar family's biggest hobby. Nope, that was having kid after kid after kid, giving birth 17 times in 22 years. Wow. And in the late 2000s, this made them famous around the world. The Duggars weren't famous just by their sheer numbers. Their unique lifestyle attracted just as much attention. The Duggars are from a Christian sect known as Independent Baptists, while regular Baptists are known for their strict doctrine and pious lifestyles. Independent Baptists take it up a notch, refusing to acknowledge any religious authority outside of their local church, or even their own household. This super local lifestyle was a huge part of the Duggars' appeal, and their show demonstrated how such a way of life could create a unique community. But the everyday viewer had no idea that this lifestyle could also lead to a much darker side. Independence. Independent Baptists reject birth control. Obviously, they usually homeschool their kids to keep them safe from outside influences. Of course, they limit access to contemporary culture like movies and TV. And interactions with members of the opposite sex are supposed to take place through careful, chaperoned courtship. But while this unique lifestyle was featured on 19 Kids and Counting, it was hardly the main focus. Much of the audience was attracted to the chaos, the energy, and the craziness of such a huge family, while the religious stuff was just an afterthought. And because of this, nobody asked too many questions about what was really happening at the Duggar household. This, however, was a big mistake. You see, Jim Bob and his family weren't just big, they were powerful. And know this, Independent Baptists prioritize their own community relationships over those with the government or law. So when somebody in that household does something horrific, their first instinct is not to go to the police. It's to solve the problem internally, or worse, cover that up. There were some questions people had about the show. For one, child labor laws would typically prohibit the hours of filming that children did, if not for the loophole of calling the show a documentary. But even the people who had concerns didn't really know what horrifying things were happening in the Duggar household. And why would they? They all looked so happy from the outside, but if only they knew what was really going on. Oprah. 2006 was a busy year. Italy won its 4th World Cup. The Nintendo Wii was released. Not that the Duggars had any idea about that. But most importantly, the Duggar family had recently appeared on national TV for the first time, and Americans were hooked. There was only one place for them to go next: Oprah. That's right, the family was scheduled to introduce their lifestyle on the biggest platform at the time. And Josh Duggar was 18 years old at this time. But the Duggars never made it to Oprah. The episode was never filmed. So what happened? Well, prior to the appearance, an anonymous source emailed the producers of the show with a very serious allegation. And the Harpo company canceled the appearance and contacted the authorities. But there was one problem. The statute of limitations had passed. The law said that charges had to be filed within 3 years to be valid. So while the Oprah appearance was canceled, nothing was made public and the Duggars got off scot-free. So what were the allegations that canceled the Oprah appearance? Well, they were more horrifying than anybody could have ever imagined. And they weren't about Jim Bob at all. They pointed at Josh Duggar, the family's eldest child. So what did Josh do? The real story. In 2002, when Josh was a preteen, he came forward to his parents with a confession. No, this wasn't a bee on a paper or a broken bicycle. No, Josh admitted to engaging in inappropriate conduct with younger girls, including his own sisters, multiple times over the years. And allegedly and unsurprisingly, Jim Bob did nothing. A year later, more girls came forward. This time, the Duggars did report the allegations to authorities, but 16 months after learning about them. And that authority happened to be a family friend of the Duggars, an Arkansas state trooper, who reportedly just gave Josh a stern talking to. Jump ahead years and the Oprah incident happened. Authorities investigated, but like I said, they were unable to do anything due to technicalities. It wasn't until 2015 that the real truth was revealed. Us Weekly published a story about the allegations. And what had been hush-hush for years now was an international news story. Josh retired from his job and publicly apologized. It seemed like that may be the end of it. But then, just months later, a data breach from the website Ashley Madison revealed even more of Josh's secrets. Evidence that Josh had spent hundreds of dollars on the website trying to cheat on his wife. All of this was a very big blow to Josh and the Duggars, but not necessarily the end of the world. After all, Josh was just a child himself when the incidents occurred. He could repent, move on, and continue to live a normal life. I mean, I don't know about that, but that's what some people thought. But of course, that was not the end of the story for Josh, and it turned out there were even more skeletons in the closet. Down the rabbit hole. In 2021, U.S. Homeland Security agents burst into the used car dealership that Josh owned, looking for evidence. And on April 29th, Josh Duggar was arrested for some very serious crimes. Yep, it's no secret. Having inappropriate content featuring children. A special agent in the case claimed that the videos in Josh's possession were some of the worst he had ever seen. Josh denied the charges and vowed to fight back. But lucky for girls everywhere, the law did not agree, and Josh was appropriately found guilty. On May 25th, 2022, he was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in jail. After his sentence, he will no longer be allowed unsupervised contact with any children, including his own. The other Duggars had mixed reactions to the news. Some, including his alleged victims, were happy to see justice served, while others, like, can you guess it? Jim Bob, were outraged, maintaining that such issues should be taken care of within the family, not the justice system. But while the Duggar family dealt with the fallout, it was clear their time as TV stars had finally come to an end, and the family's spin-off show, Counting On, was canceled. To many people, the Duggar family was an ideal model for an American family. Sure, they were a bit more religious and populous than your average clan, but many people believed they embodied very real American values. You gotta face it, people loved that show. But the Duggar family story is a chilling reminder that behind the happiest families, there often lurks dark secrets. And anyone who believes they're above the law might possibly have something to hide from it. So what do you think? Is this the end of the Duggars? Or will we hear more unsettling news? Do you think any of them will ever get back on reality TV ever again? And finally, did you enjoy watching 19 Kids and Counting? If so, why? Get in the comments and let me know. Before you head out of here, please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps. And tell us what reality show we should cover next. Subscribe to our channel and come back often so we can keep telling you
What